Back home in Malaysia, Gary Cahill, Chelsea legend, is in town. Had a chance to sit down with him, and Matsat Keish actually asked him all about Chelsea this current season ahead of the game later tonight against Aston Villa. Take a listen.
Gary, the last time Chelsea played Villa in December, it ended up being a comprehensive, comfortable 3-0 victory for the Blues. Do you anticipate a similar sort of game tomorrow, or do you think this time around it's going to be a lot more trickier for Chelsea?
I hope it's a convincing win for the Blues. I've got a feeling it'll be a lot closer this time around. I think Aston Villa are off a good result from a point against Liverpool, and I thought it was terrific actually in the Cup against Tottenham. So they're in decent form, and Chelsea obviously was flying before Christmas, and they've just come off a little bit. So I think it'll be a lot closer this one.
I want to talk a little bit about Cole Palmer. I mean, obviously last year was an incredible season for Cole Palmer. Ridiculous numbers, by the way. But this season we've seen a slight reduction. Does it feel like teams are just keeping a closer eye on Cole Palmer and just allowing him minimal space on the pitch?
Still a good season for him. And sometimes a victim of your own success because of the numbers that he produced last year. So, and yes, I think they're giving him more respect. Obviously, like they should do. You know, he's a big threat. So they're seeing him as a big threat, and maybe, you know, sometimes you see him doubling up on him and things like that and trying to reduce his space, but he's still a top player. And players sometimes, you know, go in and out of form. Cole is a brilliant young footballer who will only go on and get better and better. So, no, he's going all right. He's having a little bit of a quiet spell for his standards, but form's temporary and class is permanent. So I think he'll be back to his best in no time soon.
You spent a couple of days with Chelsea during pre-season, where you got to see the team under Enzo Maresca. At that point, if you had told Chelsea fans that they would be pushing for top 4 at this stage of the season, a lot of them would have taken that. And that's exactly what's happening at the moment. Chelsea are right in the mix. Based on your time spent with Chelsea, what did you pick up from Enzo Maresca that you think is probably a really good attribute to become a Chelsea manager? A
very clear way of playing. A very clear way that he wanted to play. Very hands-on. I was there, like I said, in the US pre-season for half of it, and I saw him working on the pitch. He's like I said, he's very hands-on. He's an on-pitch manager who drives the way that he wants to play. So I saw that as being a positive thing, because players need direction and need, you know, clear instructions as to the game plan and the shape that's changed slightly. So that's really one of the things that stood out.
Thanks to Gary Cahill for taking the time to speak to us. And it's a great game. It's a great proposition. Villa-Chelsea. What are you thinking here? And Cole Palmer, I mean, his form hasn't been the best. Or maybe his standards are just set a little bit too high last season, exactly as Gary said.
Yeah, I think so. I think when a player's done so well, you expect him to do it every week, and it's not realistic. I don't think that, you know, it'd be unfair to want that from Cole Palmer all the time. I think Chelsea have had a fine season. I'm not sure what they expected. I'm not sure what the fans were expecting.
Well, it's because of their start, but now it's just 2 wins in the last 9. In fact, in the last game against Brighton, Cole Palmer, for the first time this season, failed to create a chance.
Yeah, but that's football, isn't it? Sometimes that's what I mean. Is we can look at his stats and really micromanage them, or sometimes you just got to accept that he's a good football player. He's done really well, probably better than everyone thought, and now he's having a so-called dip, but he's not really. I think he's still playing well. It only takes 1 game, so if he turns it on against Aston Villa and has a really good game, we stop talking about him like this.
But how much do you reckon they miss Nicholas Jackson? Because it seems those two work very well in tandem. The amount of sprints that Nicholas Jackson makes, and by the way, he's got 100 more sprints than any other Chelsea player so far this season. He's got an injury, and the space that was created for Palmer suddenly isn't there anymore.
Well, again, we're talking about Beto and other players. We don't like the strikers that run in behind, and that's what Nicholas Jackson does. He will run in behind and he'll create that space for Cole Palmer and the other players to get in the pockets and create the chances. And they obviously are missing him. He has had mixed opinions of the fans from Chelsea and so, but I really like him. I think he's still got a lot to improve on. But when he's in the team, obviously they're a much better team.
And, I mean, if you look at it, they've still got a lot of attacking talent there. Do you think some of them need to step up, the likes of Neto, Sancho? There's another one, Nkunku.
Yeah, they have to, but I think when Nicholas Jackson gets injured, it kind of breaks down everything that they're trying to do, Chelsea, because there's nobody, as Simo said, there's nobody that's taking the back line further back. So all those players that you mentioned, Neto, Sancho, Palmer, they've all got more space. So they are, and Nkunku's not really that type of number 9. So that he's a big miss, and you know he had his critics as well, Nicholas Jackson, and I think it just the fact that he's missing shows how much he means to the team.
No person that maybe needs to step up, Madueke, but what a prediction, Simo?
I actually think Chelsea might win. I think Villa, they've drew two games at home. They played midweek against Liverpool. Chelsea have had a full week to prepare. So yeah, I'm going to go with Chelsea win today. Chelsea
victory. Well, currently in the table, Chelsea are in 6th place on 43 points, but Villa are in 9th on 39 points. If Villa get the victory, so it's a 1-point difference between the two sides. What's your prediction?
Just to try and even out the day, I'll go for Villa. I'll try and get one back on Simmer.
Okay.